welcome to part 2 of my guaranteed profitability formula, my lead generation example. In this video, I'm teaching you how to guarantee that your Facebook ads are profitable and know that before even having to spend a penny on an ad. So stay tuned because that's coming up right now. What's going on, guys, and welcome back. My name is Gabe Kemsey with GabeKemsey.com. I am your internet marketing guide, and on my channel I teach internet marketing as well as entrepreneurship to help you build the business and brand that you want and that you deserve. And this is part 2 of my guaranteed profitability formula video. So if you haven't seen part 1 yet, pause, go back and watch part 1 because there I cover the numbers, I cover what we're gonna be going through. And if you don't understand that, this part is gonna be kind of confusing because you may not understand what I'm talking about, or you may, I don't know, but better safe than sorry. Go back, watch the first part. If you're continuing and you've just finished the first part, welcome back. Now we're gonna be diving into my lead generation example where I'm gonna show you how you can use your KPIs that we talked about and how you can create a profitability formula to basically guarantee that your ads are profitable before you even start running any ads at all. So if this is your very first time on my channel, go ahead and feel free to subscribe to my channel, hit the notification button so that you can get notifications for upcoming videos. So let's go ahead and dive right into this. Okay, so for our lead generation model, the first thing we need is obviously our lead capture page, which is gonna include getting our name and email of our traffic or phone number, whatever we're getting. And then when we have our ad, it's gonna send traffic to our lead capture page and then go straight to a thank you page. But with a lead generation model, we are usually following up with emails, or you send them to a webinar or some kind of presentation. So once we get their name and email, we're sending emails to them, or you're sending them to a webinar. You know, you gotta kind of specify it for your particular business model that you're using. And from there, they go to a sales page where we offer what we're offering. And then finally, a thank you page. And if your particular funnel contains upsells and all that kind of stuff, you can kind of put that in there. But this is just kind of the general model that we're going to be using for this example. Okay, so now that we've kind of drawn this out, the next thing we need to figure out is our KPIs. So I'm going to KPIs. All right, so similar to e-commerce, we're going to need to figure out our cost per click. We're also going to need to figure out our click-through rate. Now that we're working with the lead generation model, we are going to have to figure out our cost per lead as well as our conversion rate for our landing page. And remember, those are 2 KPIs that we didn't figure out in our e-commerce model, but now that we're doing lead generation, you're going to need to know those. So our cost per lead, also your conversion rate for your lead capture page, which is this right here, your conversion rate for your sales page, which is this right here, and then the last 2 numbers, which is the health of your business, your CPA, your cost per acquisition, and your AOV. Okay, and similar to the last example, we're gonna work backwards because it's just the easiest thing to do. All right, so let's say for this particular example, we want our average order value. Remember, that's the amount, our average value of the product that we're selling. How much we make from a sale is, for this particular example, like $100. So that could be coaching services, or it could be a course that you're selling. You know, whatever your particular product service is, that's the number you want to use there. Okay, I'm just using this as an example. So what's our CPA gonna be? Now our cost per acquisition, remember our cost per acquisition, we're going for a 2-to-1 ratio, meaning for every $1 we spend on Facebook, we want to get $2 back. And that's just kind of a nice goal to have. So if every sale we get is gonna equal $100, then how much we're gonna spend per person to get a buyer is gonna be half of that, which is $50. Okay? So those are the numbers that we're working with here. So now our conversion rate for our sales page, which is this right here, two things happen here. So if you know your numbers for your sales page, your conversion rate for your sales page, maybe you've been already running traffic or you already have a model or a business that you've been running for a while, then you're going to use that number. But if you don't, if you have no idea what your conversion rate is for your sales page, just because you either are starting a new marketing funnel or you've just never done anything yet prior to this, watching this Facebook ad course, then you're going to want to use the ratio of 1 to 5%, kind of like we did in our e-commerce example. Now, for this particular example, I'm going to use 1% because it's low and it's very conservative, and it gives us a little bit of wiggle room to work with. But so that's what we're going to use here, 1% for our conversion rate for our sales page. Now, the conversion rate for our landing page, similar kind of idea. If you know your numbers for your conversion rate for your landing page, that's the number you're going to want to use and put it here. And if you don't, typically you want your conversion rate for your landing page to be about 20%. So 20% is what I'm going to use here. And if it's higher, that's good. But 20% is usually your goal, what you want your conversion rate for your landing page to be at. And if it's not there yet, if it's lower, let's say you know your numbers, that's an area within your marketing funnel you have to kind of work on and tweak in order to try your best to improve. So for this particular example, we're going to use 20%. Okay, so now for the cost per lead. Now here's where we're going to get into a little bit of math here. So hold on with me for a second. So with our cost per lead, there's two things we need to figure out. First, we need to figure out, one, how many leads do we need to generate in order to get this model to work? And two, how much are we paying per each one of those leads, okay? So let's figure out the first step first. How many leads do we need to figure out in this situation? And to give you guys an example here, okay, so our cost per lead, I'll do the math here. First, we need to figure out how many leads do we need. So let's say we're setting, so this is where first, what you want to do is kind of set a goal for yourself. So let's say I'm setting a goal of, I want to get 100 customers, right? Go big or go home. So I want 100 people to pay me $100 for my product, service, whatever. So my goal is 100 customers. So that's what you're going to put here, whatever your goal is. Okay? And then in the bottom part here, you're going to put the conversion rate for the sales page. So the conversion rate that we're using for the sales page is 1%. Remember, that's a conservative number, but that's what we're using because for this example, because I don't know what my conversion rate for my sales page is. If you know that, you're going to use your numbers. So the conversion rate for the sales page is 0.1. I'm going to say conversion for a sales page. Okay. So, and just to kind of illustrate what's going on here, we're trying to figure out how many leads we need in order to make this work. So we know that our conversion rate for our sales page is 1%. And we also know that we're trying to get 100 customers is like our goal, right? So basically we're trying to figure out how many leads need to come through this system where 1% of that number of leads equals 100 customers. So we're trying to figure out this number right here, right? Because if we're getting traffic coming here, once they come through our lead capture page, they become a lead. So what 1% of this number equals 100? That's what we're doing here algebraically, okay? So if my math is right, it's going to be 10,000, right? 10,000 leads. Is our goal for this particular model. Okay, so now we know this number here. This number is 10,000. So out of the 10,000 leads that are coming through this funnel, 1% of these 10,000 leads is going to equal our 100 customers. So now that we know the first part, which is how many leads we need, now we need to figure out how much are we paying per lead. So in order to figure out how much we're paying per lead, all that is we just need to figure out how much are we going to pay for this whole campaign, right? So if our goal is 100 customers and we are paying $50 per customer, then what we're going to be spending, what we're predicting we're going to spend for this whole campaign is 50 times 100. So 100 customers, I was just going to say CU, is what our goal is, times our CPA, which is $50, because we're paying $50 for one person. Remember, if we spend 50 bucks, one person is going to give us 100. So if we want 100 people, we need to spend 50 bucks for 100 people. That's what we're doing here. So that equals $5,000. Right? So that's what we're spending for this whole process. That's what we're spending to drive our traffic through to hopefully, if all these numbers dial out the way we want them to dial out, get 100 customers. Okay, so now all we have to do is figure out how much out of that $5,000, how much are we going to pay per lead. So if we have a budget of $5,000 for this entire campaign and we have 10,000 leads, that means that we're going to be spending 50 cents per lead. Okay, so that makes sense. You see what I kind of did there? If this is a little bit confusing, pause it, go back, kind of see what I'm doing here, plug in your numbers and figure out what your cost per lead is. So that's what our cost per lead is for this particular scenario. It's going to be 50 cents. All right, so now we need to figure out our click-through rate. Once again, I'm going to give you this number, and that's going to be the same number we used in the last example, 3%. It's good. And remember, if you're trying to figure out, oh, where did I get 3% or whatever, I'm giving you that number. There's no fancy calculations for that. It's 3% is just the ideal click-through rate that you just want to shoot for in order to keep your cost per click down, which is what we're going to figure out right now. Okay, so for our cost per click, it's the same method. We need to figure out two things. One, how many clicks do we need to get in order to get this model to work for us? And then two, how much are we spending per click? Okay, so let's do that math real quick. I'm gonna leave 10,000 leads up there because we're gonna actually need that. So cost per click. So first we need to figure out how many clicks do we need. So how many clicks do we need to get 10,000 leads? All right, so we know we need 10,000 leads. I'm just gonna say L for leads. It's not liters for all my chemistry and bio majors there. So for 10,000 leads, now what we need to put at the bottom number here is the conversion rate for our landing page. And the conversion rate for our landing page is right here, which is 20%. So that's what we're gonna put here. In decimal form, it's 0.20. That's our conversion rate for our lead capture page. Right? And the reason why we use this number is because let's think about it for a second. So this is our lead capture page. We know that the conversion rate for our lead capture page is 20%. So whatever amount of clicks we are sending to our lead capture page, 20% is going to convert into leads. And we know that we have 10,000 leads. That's our goal, is to get 10,000 leads. So 20% of what number equals 10,000 is what we're trying to figure out, and that's what we're doing here algebraically. And that equals 50,000 clicks. All right, so that's the amount of clicks that we need in order to get this model to work. So we now know our mystery number here, which is 50,000. 50,000 clicks. Okay, so now how much are we spending per click? Now we already know how much we're spending for this entire ad because remember, we're aiming for 100 customers. We're paying 50 bucks per customer. So 50 times 100, once again, is 5,000 is what we're spending for this entire thing. So now we just need to figure out how much of this 5,000 divided into clicks. Now remember, we're not, this is the same budget we're using throughout the entire ad. So we're not using some of this for leads, some of this for clicks, some of this for customers. It's all one and the same, if that makes sense. We're just figuring out of this 5,000, how much would that be for leads and how much would that be for clicks. So 5,000 for our budget divided by the amount of clicks, which is 50,000, equals 10 cents per click. Okay, so that is our CPC, cost per click, is 10 cents. Okay, so you see how this kind of works. And so now if we kind of use these numbers to walk through basically our story here, we know that in order to get this model to work for us, our goal is to get 100 customers. Okay, so we know that we need to get 50,000 clicks. Now, if we are spending 10 cents for each click, that means 10 cents times 50,000 equals $5,000. So we're going to spend $5,000 to push our traffic through this particular marketing funnel. So out of the $5,000 that we're spending, the 50,000 clicks, 20% of those 50,000 clicks turns into 10,000 leads. And then those 10,000 leads, as they go through our marketing funnel, 1% of those 10,000 leads equals 100 customers. And we know that where our aim is, where our average order value, what we're selling is $100. So if we have 100 customers and we're selling a $100 product, that means that in total, we are making $10,000 in total revenue. But remember, we're spending $5,000 to drive this traffic through this funnel. So if we are making $10,000 and we're spending $5,000, that means we are making a profit of $5,000. Okay, so do you see that? Do you see how by knowing our numbers and understanding your funnel, understanding your KPIs, you can, to a certain extent, almost predict your profitability for your Facebook ads? If you get this down, if you understand this, and you figure these numbers out for your particular business model, for your particular marketing funnel, then you are putting the right foot forward to basically guaranteeing your ads are profitable without having to even spend a dime yet, okay? And I think it's important to realize a couple things here. One is that this is not all black and white, okay? Because if it worked perfectly like this every time, everybody would be rich, okay? And sadly, it doesn't work perfectly like this all the time. Remember how I said before, 80% of your ads are not going to work the way you want them to work. Only, a smaller amount is going to work just like this. But you have control over creating or trying your best to get your numbers to be dialed into your KPIs by changing things in your marketing funnel. And I remember these two numbers, once again, these are for our ad, right? And these two here are a conversion rate for our landing page and for our sales page is for our funnel, right? And then these two are for our business, the health of our business. And 10 cents for a cost per click, it's not impossible. It can be a little bit tough, depending on how well your marketing is. But remember, our conversion rates here are really low. 1%, 20%. We're just working with conservative numbers here. But if we want to reduce our cost per click, let's say it's a little bit higher, we can do that by changing things in our ad. Maybe and testing out different things to try and get the cost per click down or try to increase our click-through rate, because the higher the click-through rate is, the lower the cost per click goes down. Or let's say our cost per click looks good, our click-through rate looks good, but our conversion rate for our landing page is not good. Let's say it's half of this, it's 10%. So we know now, okay, there's an issue with our landing page. So we can test out different copy, images. Maybe our offer isn't where it needs to be. Or maybe our sales page, the conversion rate for our sales page is low. Hopefully it's not lower than 1%, because if it is, then you definitely know you need to work on something in your sales page. And that could be a variety of different factors. Or the issue might be here with your webinar, with your emails, with this process here that's driving these leads to convert. That might be where the issue is. That's where you kind of have to focus and change and alternate things in there in order to get these numbers to look the way you want them to look. And then obviously your cost per acquisition and your average order value. Let's say, you could always raise your prices. If you decided to charge $200 for your product or your service, then you have a little bit of wiggle room, because if I'm charging $200, then my CPA is going to be $100. So I can afford to spend $100 for one person to buy, right? And I can do that because if somebody does buy and I spent $100, I'm getting $200 back. 2-to-1 ratio is a great goal to set. You may not always hit that all the time, and that's fine. But as long as you're profitable, right, guys? As long as your CPA at the end of the day is lower than your AOV, right? That's really all that matters at the end of the day, because that means that you're gaining more in profit than you are in spending. Because if you're constantly spending more than you're making, then obviously you're just losing money. But with that being said, like I said with the e-commerce example, you may have a lower CPA and have a lower price point for this funnel, but you may have some upsells afterwards. So you have to consider that into your equation. So let's say your buy-in is like, you know, 20 bucks or 50 bucks. You might just be breaking even in terms of your ad flow. But when you include your upsells and all that kind of stuff, that's where you see the return on investment. That's where you see the profitability. So you have to remember to incorporate your upsells into your AOV. Okay, guys? So that's it. That is the profitability formula right there. So as you can see, it's a lot of math. It kind of looks all jumbled up and stuff, but I promise you, if you take some time, get a piece of paper out, draw out your funnel, write out your KPIs, and go through step by step to try and figure this stuff out for your particular business model. Once you have this figured out, you have a plan, right? And that's the most important thing. You need a plan. You need to know where you're going. You need to know what you're aiming for. And I now know what I'm aiming for before I even spend a dime on an ad. And so once I begin running campaigns and I start testing and I start optimizing, I have a goal to hit these numbers, because I know if I can hit these numbers, no matter what, I'm going to be profitable, because math doesn't lie. It's just going to work out. And the way that you manipulate these numbers and get them to work is by changing things in your funnel and with the optimizations and all that kind of stuff. Once you are actually profitable, then all your number one goal is to scale. You scale this whole baby up. And that's what we're going to be talking about later on in this course, with multiple different ways to scale your ads so that you will continue to stay profitable even though you're increasing the ad budget. Because obviously if I'm spending 50 bucks and I'm making 100 bucks every time I do that, that's where printing money comes in, okay? And you might hear about gurus or people that are really successful online, printing money online. This is where they get that from. And if you dial this in, okay, if you dial this in, and it's working for you, man, I'm selling my car, I'm borrowing money from family members, friends, I'm taking out bank loans, I'm pouring everything I can into this ad, because I know for every dollar I spend, I'm getting $2 back. So that's the sweet spot. That's where you want to get to. And I hope this video was valuable for you guys. I hope that it was helpful. I know it's a lot of technical stuff and a lot of math, but this is the stuff that a lot of people are missing. This is the stuff that a lot of people don't teach. Okay. And if you understand this process, you are well ahead of the competition. You're well ahead of understanding what you need to hit in your business in order to guarantee that your Facebook ads are profitable. So if you like this video, if you got value from this video, give it a big thumbs up, guys. Leave any comments that you may have down in the comment section below. If you have any questions about your particular business model and you need help with this, leave me a comment too as well. I'll try my best to help. Don't just tell me your business and say, figure out your KPIs for me. I can't do that for everybody, guys. Like, go through this, figure it out yourself. But if you have an issue or you're stuck or something, let me know in the comments section. Obviously, I'd be happy to help. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my page, hit the notification button so that you can get updates for later videos that I'm doing, as well as you continue to follow along with my Facebook ads course here. And last but not least, if you would like my 10 Facebook ad copy cheat sheet, where I go over 10 secrets of copy strategies and things that you can include in your ads in order to write effective ads that actually sell and that actually work, then click the link down below in the description. Download that free PDF, guys. But until then, y'all, I appreciate you guys so much for watching. Thanks for sticking in with me. I know this was kind of a longer video, but we're gonna be going along in the lesson here. So if you're following along with the Ultimate Facebook Ads course, you can continue with the next lesson. And if not, well, I hope to catch you guys on another video. Go ahead and engage. Share this video with other marketers or other people that would benefit from understanding this. If you have an agency or no agencies, or if you just know other people that are trying to run Facebook ads, they need to know this. And this can really save you a lot of headaches at the end of the day. All right, guys, I'm done rambling. You guys have an amazing day, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.